Your employer tells you, don't worry, you are legal in Poland or in Spain or whatever, and you can work in the Netherlands because of that. It sounds logical, right? But it can be a very expensive mistake to make because, in a real case in Westland, that's near The Hague, 32 migrant workers, three companies, and almost €500,000 in fines. And the workers, they came from countries outside the European Union. They are working through a Polish employment agency, Uitzendbureau, Pols, and eventually ended up working for an agriculture company here in the Netherlands. And what was the problem? According to the Dutch labor inspectorate, the Arbeidsinspectie, the legal conditions for this construction were not met, and the required Dutch work permissions were missing. And this is something many migrant workers don't realize. If you're a Polish, Romanian, or another EU citizen, you generally have freedom of movement and you can work in the Netherlands without a Dutch work permit. But if you are not an EU citizen, things can be very different. Having permission to live or work, let's say, in Poland or in Spain or in another EU country does not automatically give you unrestricted permission to work in the Netherlands. And this is where immigration law and employment law, these two, meet. Because depending on your situation, a Dutch employer may need a TWV, that's a work permit, werkstellingsvergunning, or a GVVA, which combines residence and work permission. And when I look at a case involving a foreign worker, one of my first questions is not like, how much are you being paid? Which is a very good question because there's a minimum that you have to be paid. But my first question is, what exactly gives you the legal right to work in the Netherlands? I want to see your nationality, your residence card, what is written on the back of that card, who your official employer is, which country issued your documents, and whether you were sent to the Netherlands temporarily or actually recruited to work here. Because two people doing exactly the same job inside the same greenhouse plantation can have completely different immigration rules. And here's another important point. The company cannot always escape responsibility by saying the employment agency arranged everything. In the Westland case, responsibility went through a chain. There's something like ketenaansprakelijkheid. The Polish agency was involved, a Dutch company was involved, and the agriculture company where the people actually worked was involved. And all three of them were slapped with a big fine of €500,000. And that's exactly why employers should check whether somebody is actually allowed to work here. But workers, should check too, because if somebody tells you, don't worry about the paperwork, we arrange everything, please don't make that the end of the conversation. Go on and ask, what permit am I working under? Am I registered correctly? And does my residence document actually allow this work? Because your employer receiving a fine is one problem, but your own immigration position is another. Maybe you have to leave the country or whatever, and those are not always the same question. And for more advice and tips, follow.